You know we're going to see it again today. And he's battling Stephen Frazier right now over his science, over those scenarios. Basically, Schaefer saying there was an IV drip that Murray started that killed Michael Jackson. The defense doesn't even say there was a drip. Let's go back to court.
That would include 50 cc's of lidocaine, 50 of propofol.
Correct.
And in this particular scenario, it wouldn't have been the 3 to 5 minutes that Dr. Murray said. It would have been immediate push.
That's how the simulation was done.
Now, in this particular simulation, let's assume, let's go back to what Dr. Murray, let's stay with this particular scenario. Now, Dr. Murray did not tell the police that he injected 50 milligrams, is that right?
I would have to refer back to the, in terms of that day, that is correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, if, in fact, Dr. Murray had pushed in rapidly this 50 milligrams, then you would expect, as you've testified, any apnea event to occur within those 2 minutes.
My only hesitation in saying yes, generally I would say yes, is that the pharmacological state of Michael Jackson is so unclear to me because of the long history of drugs that he's received, getting propofol every night. In a patient who was pharmacologically naive, absolutely, I would expect apnea. In Mr. Jackson's case, it's harder to have that level of certainty because there's very little, almost no precedent for this amount of propofol exposure. But for the purposes of your question, sir, yes.
Okay. And Dr. Murray would have been, of course, there during that period of time under your hypothetical.
Yes.
To observe this apnea event.
Yes.
In this particular defense exhibit EEE, even assuming the unlikely event of apnea, which you've already testified would be unlikely and you would expect.
In the absence of other drugs, that's
right.
Correct.
For 5 minutes, this would be infused under your scenario here, and Dr. Murray, of course, would be present during that period of time, right?
Yes.
Apnea event that would occur would either occur, it would have to occur at some point while propofol was actually in Michael Jackson's system. Is that right?
I don't understand the question.
Let me re-ask. Let me go back and re-ask it. Under Dr. Murray's, under the analysis you did of what Dr. Murray gave Michael Jackson here, at what point would this propofol no longer be any danger whatsoever?
Certainly by 10 minutes, the levels have dropped to the point that there should not be a risk of further complication. The risk period is around 5 to 6 minutes when the levels of propofol in the brain are at their highest levels.
And we see actually in your in the graph that you did. All right, let me see what I can do here. In the graph that you did for the FDA insert, we see that general proposition. We see here that this bottom line here represents a 1 hour infusion, right?
Yes.
And it drops off here, you can see very rapidly after 1 hour.
Yes.
Less than 10 minutes.
Yes.
And we see here this second line is a 10-hour infusion. Literally, it's 10 hours of propofol for 10 solid hours. Right?
Yes.
It further drops off.
Yes.
Even a 10-day infusion drops off over a relatively short period of time.
That is correct.
And really the only reason that it drops off slower than the other examples is because of some diffusion that goes through the body. Is that right?
The word I would use is accumulation.
Accumulation through the bodily tissues.
Yes.
Is that right? But even a 10-day is going to drop off rather rapidly.
Yes.
Okay. So, can I see?
There's 6 injections.
I'm going to mark these as defense exhibit I and J.
Triple I, triple J.
And then we have the cell as well. I've got it. And I have K as well, Judge.
Triple kilo.
This is actually triple K. It doesn't look like it, but that's what it is. This is an example a simulation that you put together. One of the many different simulations that you did for Mr. Walgren that you showed this couldn't have happened. You remember that whole testimony?
Yes, I do.
This particular simulation, which is marked as defense KKK, shows 6 self-injections at 50 milligrams each.
Yes.
Was there any evidence that was presented to you or any analysis presented to you that led you to come up with this particular simulation?
Just the hypothetical that was their self-injection, which I believe I read in the letter prepared by Dr. White, that there had been self-injection. So that's why I explored this as an alternate acid hypothesis.
One of the things that I had asked you on Friday was about a computer program that would determine dose from concentration, and you said there would be infinite number of possibilities.
Yes.
And here we have, in this particular scenario, which you showed to the jury and said, well, this didn't happen. You have 6 injections, right?
Yes.
Did you have any information whatsoever from the evidence at the scene or statements or witnesses or even from Mr. Walgren which led you to believe that 6 was a particularly important number?
No.
You could have used 8?
Yes.
10?
The time course, depending on the size of the dose, the time course would have changed, but we can simulate an arbitrary number.
You didn't have any of that, any information about 6 injections at 50 milligrams with regard. This is JJJ, Your Honor.
Triple J. And if we could go a little closer to the mic and help us out, Mr. Chernoff, thank you. It's triple Juliet.
This is triple J. And also you had no information at your disposal that Dr. Murray would have given 6 injections either.
Correct.
Or for that matter, 50 milligrams each.
Correct.
And once again, these injections are also rapid bolus injections.
Correct.
Now, we have established that Dr. Murray said he gave a 3 to 5 minute injection, right?
Correct.
You have testified that that is a recommendation you would make.
Correct.
Right? You would agree that a professional, a medical professional who's giving propofol should initially provide a rather slow bolus.
Correct.
And that the reason for that is because of the danger of apnea and hypotension?
Yes.
In all of your simulations, you have shown a rapid bolus, right?
Yes.
Including the ones by Dr. Murray, right?
Yes.
But there is a circumstance, you would agree, where you would expect a rapid bolus.
You'll have to give me more information.
Well, you are familiar with rare occurrences of healthcare providers who have died from propofol use.
Yes, we've published such cases in anesthesia and analgesia.
Yes, I've seen that. And you have shown us in this.
Excuse me for a moment. The last exhibit really is triple Lima. I think I used Juliet twice. The exhibit